Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'm going to be covering Bedlam. He made his first appearance in Venom, Volume 5, Issue number 1, that was released in November of 2021. The real name of his consciousness is actually Eddie Brock, who's most famously known as Venom, and Bedlam was also considered a king in black, having variable height and weight. Although he is considerably larger than his other iterations, I'd say approximately 15 feet tall and weighing at least 3,000 pounds. Having all black beady eyes with no hair and blood red symbiotic material for skin, which also has sharp spikes on his arms and shoulders. Now, since Bedlam has become a pure Klyntar symbiotic mass, he obviously has all of the base abilities of his species, including moderate superhuman strength, durability, speed, agility, and shapeshifting. Although I'd venture to say that his strength and durability are noticeably higher than average, with him likely being the physically strongest or second strongest of all of Eddie Brock's iterations. And since Bedlam was a king in black, he had a special connection to the symbiote Hive-Mind, which allowed him to pilot any symbiote that he desired and project his consciousness through the time stream into the past and future, also being able to manifest into a humanoid form without the need of a specific host. Now, Bedlam has definitely earned his namesake, being somewhat of a rage monster, but interestingly, he hates himself, and is so vicious with this that another iteration of Eddie Brock found his bloodlust to be comparable to that of Carnage, and he attacked and tortured specifically 2 of his previous iterations with the mentality that this suffering would make them strong enough to defeat Meridius, and that if not, they would at least die, along with himself and all the other iterations in this perpetual time loop. Now, this all begins in a distant future when Eddie Brock becomes stranded in the Garden of Time after his physical body died and he unintentionally got caught in this time loop. He incarnates by piloting random symbiote mass within the garden. This vicious version of Eddie is on a mission to escape the time loop and stop his evil 6th iteration named Meridius, who's the architect of this time loop. Bedlam is consumed with rage and self-loathing towards his other iterations, specifically the main Eddie that just arrived at the garden and his immediate precursor named Finnegan. We first see this play out as Meridius is giving the new Eddie a tour of the garden and introducing him to the other symbiote kings. Finnegan shows up and tries to warn his past self of the dangers that lie ahead. So in response to this, Bedlam attacks, brutalizing the new Eddie as well as taking off with Finnegan, attempting to devour him, which is an event that happens repeatedly in the time loop to the other kings. However, the intelligent and manipulative Meridius would convince Bedlam that going back in time and fighting their son Dylan would make him strong enough to possibly defeat Meridius himself. But this was all part of Meridius's nefarious plans, and this would lead to Bedlam being pulled into the past by Meridius and being sicked on Venom. Firstly, Bedlam and Venom have a brutal battle, with both of them being impaled at different points in their skirmish. And during this time, it's revealed to Eddie Brock Venom that Bedlam's true identity is Eddie himself from the future. We then see Meridius trap Venom Eddie's time-traveling codex inside Bedlam's mindscape, forcing him to watch as Bedlam engaged and tortured Dylan to the brink of death, all the while mocking Eddie for being weak before he devoured him. So when Meridius then recalled him to the Garden of Time, he would manifest as Finnegan, who would then be attacked by Bedlam's past self as part of this ongoing time loop. Yet interestingly enough, according to Meridius, once Bedlam's rage burns out, he'll be left with nothing more than his bitter cynicism and will become the iteration known as Wilde. Now, for his powers and abilities and his influence on the Marvel Universe, for my 1 to 10 rating, I'll give Bedlam a rating of 8, which is an unforgettable rating. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and join the new Sage.